Hello and welcome to the VR Untethered podcast, where we are untethered from any semblance of being tethered to anything, including gravity. I'm really floating above the ground right now, with the aid of a chair, but I am floating above the ground.
It's a neat trick, especially if you think of the chair as just compressed energy.
It is.
Right? In which case you're floating.
Uh-huh. Yep. I am floating above the ground using compressed energy between me and the ground. So.
I believe the yogis would be impressed. I think we have a yogi following us.
Maybe. So, anyways, I'm not Brad, that's not Josh, but that is Brad and I am Josh. And behind me, there is an invisible cat on the back of my invisible chair.
He's not kidding either. Occasionally you will see a paw sticking around there.
Or if I turn around enough, he might. Oh, on my chair right now. He moved. But so technically, I've got both of my cats in the room with me right now.
So anything could happen.
Yes. If you see me all of a sudden go or whatever, that's my one cat jumping on the back of the chair. If it's just it's the other cat. One is a lot heavier than the other.
And if you could catch the correct movement twice, we will give you the reward for the week.
Which is?
I don't know. We haven't figured it out yet.
A thumbs up. I said which is, and then it brought up.
But you've already given them the thumbs up, so now they've already won the award.
They haven't earned it yet.
I know, but you gave it to them.
Yeah, it was a preview of what the award will be.
Because so few people know what a thumbs up looks like?
Yes.
Thank you.
They don't know what my thumbs up looks like. This is only a preview. This is not actually what mine looks like. Mine actually looks like this.
But do you use white?
I use a spoiler tag.
Do you use white, yellow, in between yellow, light brown, tan,
no, I use
dark brown? They give me choice of many more colors on the...
I use my actual hand because it can do a very special thumbs up that very few other people can do.
I don't think I want to know.
Because I am double jointed in my thumb.
Okay. That was a very lovely dance step.
So...
By the way, whatever you're doing with your thumb is impacting the microphone.
Nice.
I don't know how that's happening, but...
So anyways, now that we killed 3 minutes of the show.
Wow, we can condense it to an hour and 42 minutes now quickly.
Let's get started. Do you have any highlights this week, Brad?
I do have highlights this week. I'm one of the few people who actually paid for Stones of Harlad, it seems. Just from now on, I can't be so quick on the draw. I've also followed the Worldwide Developer Conference for Apple this week. And Apple really wants you to know that aside from purple iPhones, they're into augmented reality. And they're not kidding.
I thought they were kidding.
Really, they seem serious. This is what they...
Yeah.
You know, if it wasn't purple and pink iPhones, it was this. And the fact that we're going to keep confusing people as to which device they should buy because we're just going to put the same processor and everything. Makes for interesting. No, to me, actually, the most interesting thing this week that really blew my mind was the new capture program that they're building into the Mac OS 15 and the new iPad OS 15, which allows you to use the iPhone to capture a solid object. They'd like you to capture a minimum of 30 to 40 shots of it, and then it stitches it together and turns it into an object that will be exported in like APZDW, which is the Apple virtual reality.
So a photogrammetry app, so built in.
It will be a volumetric, three-dimensional app that you will be able to bring into your VR.
So a photogrammetry app that is built into it.
Right.
The photogrammetry is where you take multiple pictures from different angles and then stitches it together into a 3D model.
Which we could do now. I mean, you could already do that with like Gravity 4D and some other 4D Sketch rather and Z Sketch and a few different things. But this it's doing just this, just by using the Apple camera, just by using the iPhone. If you just buy the highest end iPhone we sell and point it at this object and run it through our highest end this, but it'll do it, which is amazing.
Well, you can already kind of do that with the iPhone 12 Pro. And the 12 Pro Max using LiDAR, which is easier and faster than the photogrammetry, but it's not necessarily better than the photogrammetry. Photogrammetry can produce incredibly true-to-life models, whereas LiDAR tend to create more approximation.
Right.
But what would be ideal is if they had a way of combining the two.
That's what that's what I'm interested in, because it says that not only you don't need the camera with LiDAR, just a dual camera. However, if you have one with LiDAR, that will help. So I'm believing that this new program will use both the image and the LiDAR.
If it's got both available.
Right. Okay. So if they can combine the two of those, they're saying that you don't need LiDAR to do it, so I can imagine that the LiDAR would just be an additional piece of information that's it, but better if you do.
Right.
That would mean that it should be capable at some point, at least, of combining the two. And that will be amazing. Really amazing. And I was looking at drones this week, literally drones that are shooting volumetric images so that you can import scenes into your virtual reality, your real everyday life into the virtual reality world, or vice versa.
Right.
And it's already there. You can touch it up a little. It still needs a little touch up, but it already exists. So it's like Apple's really getting their crap together at this point. If I was Oculus, I know. So yeah, that was the highlight of my week, I think, was seeing the actual use of the camera to do this capture, and the fact that they...
Go ahead and keep talking.
The fact that they created their own program to be able to do it with utilizing their phones is very interesting to me. Really interesting.
Okay, there we go. A cat just jumped up on the back of my chair. Can you guess which one?
The one that's sort of like calico.
They're both orange cats.
Then it's one of them.
Very astute. So, anyways, what I was going to say is, speaking of the photogrammetry, that's what is used in puzzling places. And it's a photogrammetry that then is broken apart into a jigsaw puzzle, and you reassemble it, and then you can explore the 3D model outside and the inside. Right. And Azad Balabanian, who is the one behind that, sent a tweet out the other day showing how he was doing photogrammetry from an airplane for the first time. He was using a drone goggles connected via a cord to his camera, so he could aim his camera out of the window without, I moved around that way.
I know. As I look at drone technology and where it's going, I am just more and more amazed at Hello. He looks a little frightened, but
Oh,
anyway,
is that?
yeah, I'm amazed at what they're doing now with this technology, and if
Yeah.
they're able to start bringing objects and stuff like this into the real world in order to be manipulated in one of these little programs, how quickly it could take place, it's pretty fascinating. It really is. And it's a whole different approach than Oculus is taking, that Facebook is taking. So it's kind of intriguing. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, yeah, I mean, a different approach is not a bad thing. That's a good thing. It shows which one will to take over. Well, if they are so different enough, it kind of doesn't matter. It's not in that instance. It's no longer a competition. It's which one to complements. It's they would to complement each other and fill in the other gaps where the other is lacking or whatever. So
right. There's that. And then there's that other company that introduced the two new 5K VR headsets this week that, well, the concept, I don't know if they actually introduced them.
are you talking about the company that was behind the Nolo VR stuff?
Um,
Because
I don't know.
I
I've
know they
seen
announced a
briefs.
couple new ones, and I
Yeah,
think I
no,
forgot to mention that on my news. But yeah,
yeah, I don't think this was the Nolo based ones. I saw you reply to somebody on that, by the way, and
yeah.
I hope they didn't go Nolo because that would be a big step backwards, I think, at this point.
Well, no. The article that was linked to on that one said they were the company behind Nolo, so that's why I said that. And my point on that was, if this is the company behind Nolo, it's not an out of nowhere thing. They've been around for a while. They have some experience. I mean, hopefully they have learned from their mistakes because Nolo made a few mistakes, but they have some experience and they have been around. It's not a brand new out of nowhere. That was my point.
Okay,
You
well,
know,
we'll see where that goes. And
in the
I also
tweet.
saw,
But yeah,
I also,
I mean, on the other hand, we have Deca Move still that was completely out of nowhere, and everyone was really skeptical about it, but so far is proven that they might actually be able to deliver on a lot of their promises.
I,
Well,
I know. Hey, I was reading an article yesterday that said that the Nintendo Virtual Boy is being reintroduced as a handheld. It's like, are you kidding me? I still have two of them with the tripods on them. It's like, really, as a handheld, this thing was a weight. Literally, you
yeah.
could get muscles from it. But
Yeah. If you think that the OG Quest was front heavy,
oh my God, yeah, you literally needed the tripod when you were sitting at a table to be able to use this thing. So, but it was great. It was virtual reality 20 years ago.
yeah,
So,
even if it did give people headaches and seizures.
which
Well,
virtual
I don't know
reality
about
still
seizures.
does. Right. Headaches, yeah, people still get headaches in virtual
Yeah.
reality.
So, anyways, my highlights this past week were getting to play some of No Man's Sky Prisms update, which is where they are utilizing DLSS now. Granted, I don't have an NVIDIA card in my computer, so I can't take advantage of that, although AMD has their own DLSS-like stuff that could maybe get incorporated by Hello Games as well. But still, there are graphical improvements. Things that are getting rained on will actually look wet. Things are shinier, things are glowier. You can adjust the bloom and the camera settings and a whole bunch of other stuff now. And some things run a lot smoother, even if you don't have a DLSS capable graphics card. And there are hints at upcoming new content, like all of a sudden space stations now have cores that you evidently will need an override code for. What will you need an override code for at a space station? No one knows exactly yet, but there will be some sort of mission, some sort of storyline involving that, and people are saying that there is leakages happening that indicate players will be able to own a space station. They'll be able to claim it as theirs and whatnot. And so, who knows? We'll see.
In-app purchases. The price of the space station is currently 14 Bitcoin, and
no. That would be Everspace. That would be Everspace. That, if you want to be really, really good at that, does to take a lot of real world money.
I was going to say.
And you can have real world money stolen from you in it too by the pirates in the game.
Yeah. Listen, at this point, well, it's become apparent to me that ransomware is where it's at. If you're going to raise your kid to do anything, it's ransomware. It seems to be,
I guess so, yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out how you can use a computer to steal money without it being traceable. Doesn't seem to
go through many different hops. Use Tor, use VPNs,
But they found them.
To go through a VPN, to go through another VPN, to go through another VPN, to go through Tor, which you use to go through a VPN.
Hey, did you see Apple's new privacy system?
No. I didn't watch WW.
Okay, this is, if it works, because to me this seems like alchemy, but it's interesting. So you say to Apple, this is the site I want to go to, okay? Mm-hmm. And Apple receives your IP, but it has no idea where you're going. It sends your IP to some sort of mixmaster, which now changes your IP so that not your geographic code, so it's not like you can use it to override geographic, but it mixes up your IP so it has no idea who you are, and then sends it off to the site that you were without knowing this is the site you were requesting, because it's going to the second. It arrives at this third site with a mixed up IP as your identifier, and Apple has no idea where you were searching. And the people you were searching have no idea where the person who was looking at their site is coming from. And I'm just wondering if this is going to present a problem in the economic model for using the internet.
I don't know.
But anyway,
I know that certain people in the federal government are probably going to say, Apple, you need to install a backdoor for us.
All I know is
who knows?
If anything sounded like a VPN to me, that sounded like a VPN to me. Yeah.
Yes. So, in other words, built-in VPN. All right. So, another highlight I had this week was getting my butt kicked in Virtual Fighting Championship yesterday morning. My first time doing that since my hernia surgery about a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Okay.
And I couldn't get my play space completely reclaimed, so I couldn't move around very much. And my knee's acting up, trying to tell me that it's got arthritis or something, even though it doesn't. I hurt my knee somehow, so very limited mobility. So I got a good butt kicking. So,
well,
hey, at least I was able to go back in and do it, for the first time in a while. So, and then my last highlight is I've been getting back into Skyrim and watching them talk 5 get back into it as well, and be horribly confused about things like how vampires are made.
Don't you just sort of suck on their blood until they're almost dead, but not completely dead?
Something like that. Now, see, like 4 or 5 streams ago, he encountered a vampire, and he opened it, well, to vampire thralls and whatnot, and going through the dungeon, came to the final boss of the dungeon, which was a vampire. He opened up the door. She was on the other side of the door and immediately blasted him with the vampiric drain spell. He dodged and let his follower take her out all the rest of the way. And then he promptly proceeded to, after he cleared the dungeon, skip ahead 3 or 4 days because he didn't like the weather that he had when he got out of the dungeon. Well, in the game, you have a 10% chance of being infected if you are hit with vampiric drain. And then it takes 3 in-game days for the infection to fully to kick in. So he inadvertently made sure that the infection kicked in and could not be cured. So he was like, "Wait, all of a sudden I'm a vampire? How'd that happen? My character randomly decided to become a vampire."
Okay. Do vampires have a specific diet different than normal players?
Well, it says that his blood boils in the sunlight, and his vampiric powers grow as he hungers. And he now knows vampiric drain, so he can drain life energy, I guess, off of people.
Okay, well, vampires are not the messy thing.
He uses up your magicka, or as other games call it, mana. So.
Right. Well, magicka, mana, these are very technical. It's like Demio produced that, Demio. I can't believe they actually produced that video for Twitter that said the name is pronounced Demio.
I can't believe they needed to, because in their trailer they pronounce it. How they pronounce it in their trailer is the official pronunciation.
Demio, of course.
Just like the official pronunciation of Blaston should actually Blaston.
God, we're back here again. It's been a while. We should meet up at Ozzy's and have a Blaston. Blaston. Everybody grab that silver ball.
So anyways, those are my highlights of the week. So I've been getting set back into it. Had a random dragon encounter where one of the first one of the first scripted dragon encounters happened. So I had a reunion with a dragon at a place where I had encountered one before.
Oh, well, dragon reunions could be great, especially if the first time around was good. There's nothing like a good dragon reunion, I got to tell you.
Especially since the dragon always ends up dead.
That's a drag for the dragon, I got to tell you. I wouldn't be going to too many.
It just drags on and on. So, anyways, let's move on to new releases before this dragons. So, we have a Rogue Escape that came out.
Yeah.
This is a kind of a combination. It's escape room and a little bit of an actual game as well. If you are into games that don't hold your hand and where you have to figure it out as you go, this might be a good game for you, from what I have read on it. Basically, the idea is you are in a totalitarian society, you are escaping in a giant mech called a Nautacrawl, and you don't know how to operate it, and you have to figure out how to operate it, and that's the escape room part of it. But then as you after you learn how to operate it, then you also have to figure out the combat that has that arises in the game. So it's an escape room within the mech, and then it's an escape room using the mech.
Okay, wait.
A little bit. So
from what I read, it was very much an escape room, very much a puzzler, not really.
Yes.
Very much a puzzler with very, very little actual combat after you actually take.
But I'm not saying there's a lot of the combat, but there is some.
Well, everything specified that there was much less than you would anticipate from.
Well, and I've also heard that it's like about 2.5 hours long or something. So
right.
So it's on the short side, but if this is your kind of game,
it's weird,
and you don't mind shorter games, like Fisherman's Tale, I think was a little bit short too, right? Then you might enjoy this game. So.
Okay. Having not played it, I can only go by what I've read, and everything I read said describes the name Frustration. That name is.
You obviously didn't read the same thing I read, then.
No, I mean, look, it's
all about the person doing it, which is why I said, if this is the kind of game that you enjoy, if this is the kind of game Brad enjoys, Brad would be a different person. I'm not just saying if you think this is the kind of game Brad enjoys, you would enjoy it. I'm saying if this kind of game is kind that you, the person watching the video, enjoy, then you might enjoy watching it, or playing it even. I don't know about watching it, but I mean, you might enjoy watching it too, but no.
I guess you really have to be into escape rooms if you enjoy watching people escape from an escape room.
But like any escape room kind of game, it's not going to have a lot of replay value after you beat it. So those are things to keep in mind. But from what I read in the review, I think on Road to VR, it sounded like it was fairly well done for what it is. It's an interesting mix of escape room and a more video game aspect. Although it did mention that the world outside of the mech, after you learn how to control it, isn't as completely developed as the mech itself is. But still, overall, they found it a fun and enjoyable game. The biggest drawback was that it was short and the replayability. So,
right. Okay. Well, it depends. I guess if they take it into where the next one you actually use it, or a DLC where you're going to now use the thing.
Right. And this does evidently randomize a little bit when you to go back in, and things are in different locations or whatever, but it doesn't randomize nearly as much as, say, Dread Halls or Cosmo Dread, where you have to actually relearn the entire level because things are completely different. There are different enemies. There are, so so it's not that level. It's like in between. So.
I'm still trying to.
It's an effort, but it doesn't go quite far enough towards the replayability, according to them. So, and they are probably right because they played it and I haven't. So.
Right. Well, I go by the reviews also on the actual site. People who played it, so they're rated.
Well, yeah, I didn't. I mean, I saw some reviews that were good, some that were bad, as always. I generally don't go by the player reviews too much. Yeah.
Here's
because
the thing.
A lot of them are like, "You didn't load 1 star."
Okay, I know, but here's
Solid, so of course it didn't.
here,
Your internet
here's
was broken that day, of course.
here's where my thing came from. Was basically I remember playing Doctor Who, and you have to learn how to use the TARDIS, and it wasn't exactly intuitive. You had to sort of figure it out, and it took a little while. This, it seems like you're going to be doing that for the 2.5 hours, is learning how to use the TARDIS, which can end up being.
Well, it's just a different version of an escape room. If you don't like escape rooms, you won't like this game.
Right.
If you do like escape rooms, then you might like this game.
Right.
Well,
I don't know. I'll have to. Yeah, we'll have to hear more about it. I can't
so
wait
I'm,
to play it.
Anyways, we also have Zoa that came out this week, which is a free, not game. It's a meeting space.
Yeah. And what makes you say free?
Because it said free.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
You didn't see the $29.95 a month subscription?
No, I didn't see that mentioned. No.
Yeah, that's mentioned in there. It's a $29.95 per month subscription.
Well, it's a free download. How's that?
It's a free download for sure. If you want to use it, it's going to cost you $30 a month.
Okay, well.
But it looks great, and they say that it's made for video game development, basically, and for real-time interactive putting, the whole thing. But bottom line,
well, yeah. I mean, to me, it didn't look that much. It's different from any other thing of this nature that we've already seen.
right?
But
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's funny, we finally caught up with the pandemic. We now have 50 ways to meet each other online now that you don't have to. So, it just took them a while to get here, and it does look good. And like, it would have been great a year ago if this was working.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. This year, sort of a little like, clearance sale. But other than that, $30 a month, that's kind of steep. You really need it.
And I am looking at. Okay, I see. It's not in the description of the app. It does not mention it in the description at all. Just down underneath on the details where nobody ever looks, where it says E for everyone, comfortable, all that stuff. It says subscription available, and then it says $29. Okay.
Okay, so are you doubting me, or were you just verifying?
Well, no, I was just wondering where it was because I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, they definitely hit it pretty well. Yeah.
So yeah, that is something that really you should mention it in the description. That hey, this is free for up to 14 team members. After that, you have to get a subscription, or it's free for individual exploratory use, but if you want to use it as part of a team or whatever the deal is, it should be mentioned in the actual description of the app.
That's why I brought it up when you said free.
Yeah.
Like, wait a second, $30 a month? No, not very free at all.
Well, I don't know exactly what the details are. How much is free, how much is not free, because I haven't installed it yet. So, it could be that you have all the functionality there as an individual user, but if your team wants to use it, then they have to get a subscription and a license for each user.
Well, they stress.
I don't know.
Yeah. It seems to be a team thing, but yeah, we'll see.
Well, yeah. So who knows? Anyways, we also have a couple apps that came out on App Lab that I thought were worthy of mention. We have Traversal, which I misspelled in our notes with 2 V's. It's only got 1 V.
Yes, it does. Traversal.
Yes. So I will change that right now. Because
why? Nobody else is going to see it. I will.
It bugs me now that I noticed it because I am an obsessive compulsive speller, which is why I often comment under voice dictated stuff.
I always apologize. I hate autocorrect. It's like the bane.
I know. I know.
It has.
So anyways, Reversal is a little bit difficult to describe because it's a game, but it's not a game in and of itself necessarily. It's a platform for games that use the T for God kind of locomotion. So you are walking around in your actual physical space, actually to physically walking around, and the game generates on Euclidean geometry basically, so that you can walk around a much larger space in VR in your 6 by 6 foot living room or whatever.
Right.
You know,
which becomes infinite as far as the
right.
computer is concerned.
Right. But there are different experiences and games available within Traversal. One is an art gallery where you walk around a non-Euclidean geometry thing and you see different art displayed. There is a Pac-Man world in there where you are Pac-Man and you have to collect the fruits and whatnot and avoid the ghosts. So,
no, I mean it looks.
And evidently, as I discovered this morning, thanks to Seba in our Discord, there's a what is it? Find the button, push the button thing where you evidently are crawling on the floor, and you have to find a button to push.
Really? Okay. I know that also Mikey was saying something about Egypt being his favorite, although I'm not.
Yeah, they're the Egyptian exploration, the tomb raiding, this sort of thing. Yeah.
I mean, it should be a lot of fun.
And it's gotten an open API for people to develop their own games using their system, their API.
Great, right? Which is fantastic. I mean, it could really be something else. If they could really do something with this. I could see somebody really pushing the boundary.
Yeah. And we also have Cards and Tankards that came out on App Lab. This is one that Mikey really enjoys. It's basically you're in a medieval fantasy RPG tavern area, and you can play trading card games with each other, involving miniatures and the cards giving powers and whatnot. And so, yeah.
So sort of like Demio, but not.
Without a dungeon that they're in. Yeah, it's a tabletop, just so back and forth. It's more like what's that one that was on the VR/Go as well? Dragon something.
Oh,
more like that one.
Okay, so it could be cool.
We're in an environment where you can get up and walk around and talk with other people, and it's not just you're there with the cards just floating here, and they're doing that. They're actually holding them, and so.
Right. Okay. Could be good.
So yeah. And upcoming titles this coming week, which is actually this week, because we are recording this a little bit late, a day late. We have Eternal Starlight, so coming out on June 17th. This is a space-themed real-time strategy game where you are controlling a fleet in space and attacking other fleets, and yeah.
That could be great, and it could suck. I mean, let's face it, real-time strategy space games are either really good or really bad.
Yeah. Personally, I used to be into real-time strategy, kinda, when I was a kid and with my best friend, and now the other cat is up here. We used to play Risk with each other on an actual board and all that,
Right.
But I don't know. I kind of grew out of liking them because I get bored with them really quick.
You know, ironically,
So,
the real-time strategy games I liked were by E. McNeil on
right.
the Go, and he had a few real-time strategy games that really played out well. They were
Tekira.
military. Yeah.
Yep.
I think I bought all of them. They were all very, very well done. And I don't see, you don't need 60 for, I mean, I just don't see, he did it great.
Well, I mean, I've got Star Blazer on my Steam computer, and it's a really graphically beautiful game. This is the studio that later brought us Virus Popper, and Space Slippies.
Okay.
But they have a very beautiful space combat real-time strategy thing where you can pre-select different fleet loadouts,
Right.
basically, and then you some of the environments you have to literally go around a corner to get to the other fleet. Others is just straight across. They've all got their own advantages and the disadvantages, and you have ships that can grant invisibility to another ship, or so it's got some unique elements, and it looks cool, and it's got some extra stuff like go down to the dance floor and see the robots dancing with each other. So
Okay.
so
If you get bored, sure. But I mean,
yeah.
but real-time strategy games, hopefully you're not going to get that bored that you want to go watch the robots dance, except for just the thrill of watching robots dance.
Hey, nothing beats a good dancing robot with no feet or arms.
Well, it sounds like anything could be a good dancing robot with no arms, actually. Scary to think how you classify that as a dance.
No, the robots are kind of like the robots in Dash World, floating balls with like rudimentary arms.
Oh, okay.
So, and
Sounds
digitized faces. So, it's evidently a popular concept.
obviously.
Yes. So, anyways, in news, we have Facebook acquires Big Box VR, known best for Population 1.
Population 1. Let's face it, Population 1. Thank you. I timed it that way. Let's face it, Population 1 is the Fortnite of virtual reality.
Yeah.
Nothing else comes remotely close to it, especially now that they've hit their second season and went Western. I mean, it's just like, these guys are great. Big Box, these guys, and Josh and I were both in the beta and the original betas, like the classic Coke. And yeah, wow, this game has come so far from when we first started playing. I thought it was great. And it's just gotten better and better and better. So I'm really excited with this part.
And they are continually improving it and working on it, which is, I think, one of the things that Facebook looks for when they are considering companies to acquire. It's companies that are actually active with the titles.
Well, and that is just it, though. These guys were incredibly responsive to every problem immediately, really, immediately. It was insane. Like, you had your private game developer if there was a problem. So, yeah, I give them their props. These guys worked on that like no other team I know personally. And, yeah, I'm really glad that they bought it.
Yeah, and I know some people have issues with the Facebook buying up the studios, but this also pretty much ensures that this Big Box will be around for a long while.
Right. Which is great. Yeah, I mean, these guys are fantastic. I can't see what they're going to do next after this, because I know they're going to do something after this one, but it's good.
Probably The first thing they're going to do is they're going to have a party.
Oh, I think that's still going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, they deserve it. Just enjoy. So, yeah.
And in other news, we have no Oculus at E3.
A lot of them aren't showing up at E3.
Yeah.
Is there going to be anybody at E3?
I don't know. Only the E3 personnel know.
Seriously, I'm looking at how many people have decided not to go, and I don't see anybody who's decided to stay. I'm really like,
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I know I think Microsoft's not going to be there.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know that Sony is going to be there, to be honest with you.
Well, I'd say whoever does go, they're gonna have the advantage of being the only big name there. They're gonna be the biggest name, the one who went to E3.
Gear, Xiaomi, all of the second stringers. This is the time for them to show up. Probably, really.
Maybe, yeah. Never know.
One of them could rise to the top, and the Neo Pico comes.
Yeah. The Pico Neo Goblin.
Oh God. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with E3 this year, but I don't see a lot going on there. I think we've already read more than what people are going to see. So.
Yeah, quite possibly. I don't have a full list of the VR titles that are going to be in this, but beginning Wednesday of this week, I believe, on the 16th of June, the Steam Next Fest starts, which is previously known as the Steam Game Festival, and it's where you can try out demos, chat with developers, watch live streams, learn about upcoming games, etc. And there will be quite a few VR titles included in that. One of which is evidently going to be I Expect You to Die.
2.
I will probably try that out. Into the Darkness is another one that is mentioned as being available there. Pulling up a VR Focus article right now because it's titled "All the Free VR Demos" available in that. So, except I think this was the previous one because this is back in February. So, yeah. So never mind. But there will be a number of free VR titles that are being demoed. Some of them are going to be good. Some of them are going to be showing that they have a lot of work still. Like in the previous one, I tried Ionia, which was good. It had a couple bugs, but it was really good. I tried Sword Reverie, which was good, but wasn't quite as immersive, I guess. Or it had ways to go on the graphics. I felt, it was more. It felt more like a Quest 2 title than a showing off the power of the PC VR title. Right. But I think it's one that's intended to be on the Quest as well. So, it could be that they're just designing with that in mind, so it's a super cartoony looking graphics and whatnot, So, but there'll be a lot of titles to check out, and if you check any of them out, feel free to come back to this video and drop a comment and tell us what you checked out and what you thought, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you think we should try.
Well, you should try mentioning that Larsonauts is coming out this week. That would be a good thing.
And maybe. I thought I'd make that as a surprise.
Well, I'm sorry I took that away from you. And the other thing is, when is the Rat King coming for Demio? That's what I want to know.
That I believe later this month. I forget if there was an exact date. I think there was, but um, I think it's going to be next week, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So
Yeah, I know. I want the Rat. They have to make it a longer game, or they have to release more than one folio at a time.
right. I mean, there were a lot of people having a lot of fun with it as it is still too.
Oh, look, it's a
I
great
mean,
game.
it's got a very active fan base, so they're doing a lot of stuff right with that game. So
Right. Well, but the point is, it's still the same characters.
right.
So, it's time to expand it a little bit.
They've got new characters they are working on. They've teased a whole bunch of them actually.
Right.
So they've got a lot planned. One of them is going to be a tourist. I'm like, what powers are the tourist gonna have? Suitcase smack? Smack with a suitcase for half a hit point of damage.
The tourist is going to have the ability to travel. I believe.
You think?
Well, right. He's the only one with a passport. He's the only one that can get us in, guys. It's like, it's the TSA. Where's the tourist?
He's got a camera. He can take a snapshot that freezes the enemies.
Hey, listen, you have to stop playing Wraith. You just have to stop right now. I'm over the edge there. Sorry.
So, anyways, moving on from that, we've also got the upload showcase that happened yesterday. It was so spectacular.
How spectacular was it?
Not very. But it did have a lot of stuff shown. Had some, I mean, most of what was shown is the titles we already know about. I think there were a couple that we didn't know dates on that they showed a date for. But mostly it was just, hey, remember this game you knew about? Well, here's a trailer for the game that you knew about.
I know.
Like Fracked gameplay trailer from Unreal, and Dreams. I mean, it's behind this Phantom Sokovia Ops. This is their PlayStation VR game. It looks cool. It's PlayStation VR, so not on my radar because I don't have one. We have Larcenauts showcased there. Speaking of Larcenauts.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Waltz of the Withered Natural Magic, which the update for that is releasing on July 6th.
Well, I'm waiting for all.
It looks like you get to go outdoors of the maid mansion that you're in. You get to go into the outer courtyard and do stuff there. So
I'm still waiting.
We have Song in the Smoke. In case you forgot about that one.
Completely. I remember Summer and Smoke by Tennessee Williams, but Song in the Smoke I've forgotten about.
Really? Oh, it's the forest, green hell, etc. It's a kind of game. So.
Oh, when is Green Hell coming out again?
I forget.
Okay.
Sometime later on.
Q3. Q3 in a year that starts with 2-0. I got it.
Yeah, and there was a new trailer for Against, which is from Joyway, the studio behind Stride. Now, the next one is a little bit cool. There was actual gameplay shown for Unplugged, which is the air guitar hand tracking game. And it says it's got a fall launch. So, and they have I forget now, is it Rock Band or Guitar Hero to have on their team? That's one of the two.
Okay.
So, and Sam and Max gameplay trailer information. In the Hoop is one that I did not know about. This is, those arcade basketball hoop shooting things? Well, now you can have one on the Quest where you can shoot with the controller or you can shoot with hand tracking.
Now everybody.
And it's called In the Hoop.
Right. Everybody already left. You see, now we have nobody else watching because they've run to buy Quest headsets in order to be able to play In the Hoop.
Yeah, In the Hoop, yes. And the Pistol Whip is continuing to innovate and add new things. They're adding bullet hell and deep customization. So
I know it's sort of like going out for fondue. We're getting to be able to cook our own games. From that one, you don't have to play the game that we made.
Just don't overcook them.
Yeah, they can be
don't
a little bit.
Burn the game.
Please, whatever you do, and have a 5 or 6 credit.
Speaking of Ionia, Rhythm of the Universe Ionia, it launches evidently Q3 of 2021.
It was Q3 sometime.
Yep. And I expect you to die too. This summer.
Q3 2021.
Traffic Jams arrives on PlayStation VR in August. Green Hell in action. You can watch the gameplay in the upload trailer or showcase. So, after the fall, add some gameplay. Demio Realm of the Wrecking launches later this month. And you get to see Sniper Elite X-Ray Kill Cam in action.
When is Sniper Elite releasing? Q3.
And this one I just have to comment on. Nerf Ultimate Championship arriving in 2022. The trailer for this was short, and I liked what I wrote in our Discord about it, so I'm going to share it here. People walking. Oh, look, Nerf guns coming soon. The end.
Well,
that's what the trailer was.
I will give them this much. Most people understand the concept of a Nerf gun.
Yes.
So, I mean, what are they going to do? Show you the maps? It's like, it's a Nerf gun game. It could be fun. It's certainly going to be less bloody than Pop 1.
True. And last but not least, I guess the Township Trail is coming in July to the Quest. So really only, I think, one title that we didn't know about. I mean, there were some things we didn't know about, like the traffic jams arriving for the PlayStation VR. I didn't know we were going there. But In the Hoop, okay, 2 titles I didn't know about. In the Hoop and Nerf Ultimate Championship. Oh, and I forgot to mention, there's also a Blaston update coming as well.
Okay.
Blaston.
Blaston.
So, there you have it. Upload showcase in a nutshell. Total power.
Dun, 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 dun.
And last but not least on our list of news is Sense Arena VR hockey training. Evidently, the NHL or some teams within the NHL are starting to adopt something called Sense Arena, which is a kit that you get that comes with a Quest 2 and modified gloves and stick, so you can use it with the controllers, and it lets you practice some hockey skills with it, and the software for it. And one thing that I thought was cool about how they were handling it is the goalie training has real footage of real players making a shot on the goal rather than attempting to do a computer-generated thing for all the scenarios and whatnot. It's just using actual videos. And right before the puck would be entering the goalie's interactability range, it becomes an in-game puck. So it transitions from a video puck to a 3D representation of the puck in the game.
Right.
So that's kind of a cool way of handling that. It's the videos so you can see what it actually looks like and react to actual real things.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you would need to interact with it to be able to block it, it becomes an in-game object. So
yeah. Does
that's
give them a lot more
cool way of handling it, I think.
Right. So. Does give them a lot more computing power without having to generate all of that background extraneous crap. Yes. So yeah.
Exactly. So, but on the other hand, being Quest 2 based, they can only track the head and the hands. So can't track feet or your other body motions. So it's not perfect in that respect. But evidently they are pitching it as more of a cognitive training tool than strictly a technique improving tool. So that is useful as well. So and it says in April, the Arizona Coyotes, an NHL team based in surprise, Arizona, announced it has signed a multi-year partnership to use the software in its training program. So that's the NHL aspect, I guess.
Yeah. I was more impressed with the surgery, but hey.
I mean, hey, this is it also claims to measure player performance by tracking exercise data. So it gives players and coaches the ability to monitor its progress through a cloud-based platform. So the only drawback is evidently these are really expensive controller mounts for the gloves and the hockey sticks and the software, I guess, because the complete package for the goalie kit is $700 plus $99 a month.
Okay, so it's $300 for the headset. No, $400 for the headset, and the rest of it is just money in
in the developer's pocket. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
As long as you understand that, yeah.
Yeah, I think I got that one pretty good. Yeah.
Before the interruption, which
hockey,
which I edited out here, we were still talking about the censoring of hockey stuff and the money going to all the developer stuff and the cloud storage of the data. I mean that does cost probably not $99 a month, but it does cost some money.
Right. Yeah. Well, remember they're hitting the NHL with this. It's not like they're going after Mr. Z.
And this is only the goalie package. Just some of the other packages are a little bit less costly. So, but the goalie package is the most expensive one. So.
Well, because that's the one that's going to actually count when the puck comes towards your face as to blocking it, as opposed to the other, which can be a little...
I mean, the other stuff is what the article say about it. It said lesser versions, not including the extra equipment, are available for less, and are geared toward players running basic exercises at home rather than on the ice.
Right.
So I guess this is intended for them to actually use on the ice to actually do in real life the goalie motions.
Okay. Okay.
With the headset on. So.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well, I'm not going to try it out because I don't do hockey.
Yeah, no, me neither. But Mikey will
hurt myself. But we have Purple Mikey.
I said Mikey will
Discord. Michael might want to give this a try. I don't know.
I know. He just has to wear his B-haptic vest onto the ice along with this thing and tell me how it feels when the hockey puck hits him in the chest and he misses it.
Yeah.
Oh,
it felt so real.
And when I woke up 2 days later in the hospital, they said.
Yeah. So, anyways, that brings us to the end of our show. So, if you made it this far, my condolences and thank you for watching. No, not my condolences, my congratulations. And if you accurately guessed which my cast just jumped up on the back of the chair because they both did at least once, here is my special thumbs up for you.
Hope you all appreciated that. I know I did.
Not everybody gets a double jointed thumbs up.
That's why I'm saying I hope they appreciate it.
So, bye. Have a great week. Have fun and all that. And remember to drag your friends and make them double jointed while they like and subscribe.